If you use AI, will your book be copyrighted or will it not? What are the rules? So I'm Melanie Johnson. I've been publishing books for 10 years. Let's go over some of the rules so you have a clear understanding. So the first thing is no. Books created solely by AI cannot be copyrighted. That's under the current U.S. law on the Copyright Office. So if you're using AI 100% to do your book, no, it's not copyrighted. So don't even go there. It's not an option. Then I'm going to say the next question is, what if I just use a little bit of AI? Can I do that then? Or what do they say about that? AI assisted, that's what that's called. It's called AI assisted. And you can copyright that. But it's just if you've used tools to help to contribute or to lessen your effort. So I'm going to use an example, the book back there called Be Recognized. Jen and I, what we did was we took all of our content that we thought we wanted in that book. We had a bunch of YouTube videos. I had speaking engagements that I had done. We had written blog posts about it. Anything that we could get our hands on that we did ourselves that talked about what we wanted to talk about, we shoved into AI and then had AI help us organize it all and help us create the chapters and then put everything in the right chapters that we thought it was a fit. But I would say we had to do probably 40% of the work by the time it was done to make sure it was organized and add more content in, because then we could see the holes. So that is okay. If you just use it to help for AI assisted, then you can still copyright the work, okay? And then you can still edit with AI. Grammarly's been around forever, so you can edit using that, and that's okay too. That would be an example. You can use, I think you can use your own photography, but you can also use graphics created by AI. So we used a thing called Napkin AI, and that helped us create different graphs, I guess infographics you might want to call it, that displayed what we were talking about in the book. But even if you use Canva, that's still anything to create a graphic these days, unless it's hand drawn, is going to be generated by AI. So anything to do with that is the same. The next part is, what does Amazon say about it? Amazon currently, when we upload a book, is asking us, hey, we want you to disclose when you upload your book, did you use Amazon, did you use AI to generate your text, your images, or translations? So AI generated, it means if AI wrote the actual paragraphs or drew the cover art, it counts as AI generated. Even if you heavily edit it later, you must disclose that it was all done by AI, which we talked about earlier, which really isn't copyrighted. If it's AI assisted, that means you wrote the book yourself, but you used AI to brainstorm it, to brainstorm plots, outlines, chapters, maybe check the grammar. I think this gets a little more tricky too when you're writing fiction versus nonfiction. Our publishing company, Elite Online Publishing, does mostly nonfiction books, and we help authors write nonfiction books. We don't help fiction writers write their books because that's a whole different animal. And I think using AI to write fiction is a whole nother animal. Even when you're doing that, I think it's just not gonna, we find even when authors are using AI to write their nonfiction books, it doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have the stories. It's just not right unless you're putting your own content in there. So I don't know what it's going to look like for fiction writers to be using 100% AI. I don't know that I've read a 100% AI fiction book. I've read nonfiction that was 100% AI, and they didn't know what they were doing when they were trying to do that. But I have to say, AI generated music, my kids would kill me, but I like some of it a lot. I'm like, wow, this is really good. So I'm not sure if that would be the same for a fiction book or not. So now we don't know for sure. If you tell Amazon, I wrote my book 100% with AI, is it going to take you off? So Amazon is using bots to scan for undisclosed AI content. So if Amazon catches you lying during the disclosures, then it triggers a widespread copyright and plagiarism complaints. Guess what? They will terminate not just your book, they will terminate your entire publishing account and never let you publish again. That's how crazy Amazon is. If you don't follow their terms and conditions, like if you missed one thing, I don't know about you, but we know the terms and conditions because that's what we do. But usually when I sign up for stuff, they're like, sign the terms and conditions for this app. You're like, yeah, sure, click. And I don't read that stuff word for word unless you're that kind of personality that you go through and you read every single thing. So most people, if they're self-publishing, they're going to miss this. And Amazon did a huge purge not too long ago where they took off thousands of books, hundreds of thousands of books got terminated, and not just the book, their account. We had 10 authors that this happened to because they were doing bots. And we were smart enough, we knew how to get in touch with Amazon, and we got all of our authors back, thank goodness. So what about restrictions for Ingram Spark if you're doing that? They state they can reject or remove books created using automated means or generative AI. So they're not necessarily saying they're going to kick you off their platform, but they're going to take your book off. So you have to be careful about that. So they get to say yes or no. We don't know exactly what bots or automation they're using to determine that, but it does mean that because they specifically target low effort garbage books, such as scraped web textbooks or just books that are just flooding the marketplace. So if you're someone who's creating books by AI and you're like, I'm going to publish 3-5 books a week, they're going to start to get onto you because no one, unless you're a publisher, can publish that many books as an individual author that fast. I will say I know a guy that he turns all his interviews automatically into an ebook, and he's been doing that for years. So someone like that, I don't think you'll have a problem, but he's cranking out maybe 2 or 3 books a month that he's doing that for. So let's kind of do a comparison. So are AI books allowed on Amazon? Yes, if disclosed. Ingram Spark generally no, often banned or removed. Must you declare AI use on Amazon? Yes. And you have to do that during the upload process, during the questionnaire. Ingram Spark is also yes. Works must have a proper human attribution to it. So you've got to contribute on the human side. It can't be all AI. What about AI-assisted editing? So both people say yes. On Amazon, you don't have to disclose if it was edited. And Ingram, same thing. Yes, background tool usage is fine. If you're going to use Grammarly or something like that for editing or proofreading, you're fine with that. What about AI cover art? What about your book cover? What if that was generated with AI? So they're saying, yes, it's allowed for Amazon, but you have to disclose it. And interesting, for Ingram Spark, it's highly risky and can be flagged for the title removal again. I think that's kind of gray territory because when you think of creating your book cover, maybe even with Canva's assistance, or now you got Nano Banana and all these cool things that can do book covers, that's to me is saying someone has to physically draw your book cover because almost anything you do online is not going to be AI generated. If you're grabbing fonts and different things on there and putting it together, you're still using a computer. I don't know. To me, that's kind of iffy. I think they should just say that's okay. Main penalty for violations. So Amazon, as we talked about, account termination. And I don't mean just for, okay, we're terminating you for a month or two, slap your hands. No, it's forever. So it's pretty dramatic. And then also for Ingram, it's complete removal from global distribution networks. So some of you who might not know it, Spark is everywhere that Amazon isn't. So it's Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, the other 40,000 places that books are sold, libraries, universities. So that's where they distribute their books. So I'm going to say, even if you follow the rules, the lack of copyright could be a major risk to you if you're getting that, because pure AI text or AI image cannot legally hold a copyright. So be concerned about that. And I think even authors are worried about, hey, if I put my book out there, is it copyrighted at all? Yeah. As soon as you publish your book and it's an original book, then it's definitely copywritten. So you do want to protect yourself in the publishing business, and AI is making it a very spicy world out there and a lot of unknown things going on. So just be careful. I tell people it still has to be stuff that comes out of your head and your brain. The book that we didn't have a problem because all of those things in there, you can find either me or my business partner, Jen, actually saying somewhere, right? We've said it ourselves and we put it in there. We really used it for idea generation, for organization, that type of thing, which was really helpful. So be careful out there. I hope that was helpful. If you're looking to publish your book, reach out to us at eliteonlinepublishing.com. I'm Melanie Johnson, one of the founders and one of the owners, and we're happy to help you, and we guarantee #1 bestseller. We'll see you next time.